Reaching the highest rank on Master Duel is realistically a goal any duelist can reach, given that they have the time, patience, and most importantly of all, a deck that can compete. And thanks to all the resources offered in Master Duel, like the crafting mechanic and the ability to buy gems, building any top meta strategy is easier than ever. But what if that wasn't an option? What if you had to begin completely from scratch? How far can you realistically get? Okay, so the goal is simple. Reach the highest rank in Master Duel with nothing more than 3 copies of a given structure deck and whatever packs I'm able to pick up as the series continues, without ever buying any gems and or using any crafted cards. I've done this challenge in the past before and failed miserably, so I'm looking for a redemption arc. So I hope you're excited because this is Returning to Master Duel. What is up guys, it's Topsy and welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, the season has reset and we are back to gold rank 5, which is very unfortunate. But honestly, I'm quite surprised because last episode we actually ended up making it all the way to platinum rank 3, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that's pretty incredible. We've made it really far with this deck, and what I'm actually planning on doing for today's episode is just getting out of gold by the end of today. I believe that in order to go ahead and get out of gold like immediately, you need to get like 20 duels straight in a row of just victories. So because of that very fact, what I'm thinking about doing today is we're going to be going onto the shop and we're going to go ahead and buy at least 2 bundle deals and just go ahead and get all these duels out of the way as soon as possible. So that's what my idea is going in right now. But with that being said, let's actually talk about today's pack opening. So I alluded to this last episode, but one of my lovely commenters ended up suggesting that we go ahead and get the Ghost Bell pack for today's episode. And actually, I think that's a really good idea. But in addition to that, I'm also considering going ahead and finally picking up the Triple Tactics talent as well. That or maybe like an Ash Blossom, just because it's one of the most generically good hand traps. There's also the Nibiru as another great option, which is a killer hand trap, especially when our opponent overextends and all we have to deal with is a 3k body. That's very easy for us to deal with. So there is definitely 3 bundle deals in particular that I'm really eyeing right now. So one thing is for sure, we are going to be opening up the Ghost Bell pack first. All right then, so let's go ahead and open these up. All right, let's get it. Okay, not bad, not a bad opening so far. So last episode, I believe the only usable card we ended up getting last episode was the copy of, what was it, Imperm? Yeah. And that was pretty rough. We did pull Nibiru, which was an incredible card, but for us, not very good. I'm not seeing anything useful here. The Blackout is pretty cool. I absolutely adore Sword Soul, but it's not going to be doing our hero deck any good. All right, pack number 2. Honestly, I don't know why it's been so tough for us to get anything like generically good for us. Like most, for the most part, we've just been getting nothing that good. Can't use that. It's for illusion and spellcasters, and that's a ritual spell. Okay, moving on. Pack number 3. All right, this is the hollow pack. Let's see, can we get some crazy? Ooh, 2 hollows. Okay, anything crazy good. Fiend Griefing is kind of cool. You actually do need a fiend, don't you? You do, yeah. Cool little card. I used it in my frog deck back in the day. Rika's, what is this? Xyz monsters, doesn't really matter. Hydrogeddon. Okay, the super rare is a Time Thief card. Can't use that. And our ultra rare is, oh, Evil Hero Malicious Fiend. Are we able to use this ourselves? Wait, oh, we have the Dark Gaia. I believe that's the one we have in our collection right now. I don't know if we can use the Malicious Fiend very effectively. We have a nice, not nice, an okay package of Fiend monsters in our collection right now. We'll see, we'll see. I don't think it's enough to go ahead and go back into the Evil Hero pack, or dabble back into our Evil Hero collection at least. All right, Urbellum. Hit Point Landing. It's a bit slow. Exactly one. Yeah. We can't really special summon cards from our hand that effectively if it's not a special summoning like Barris from hand. So for the very fact, I don't think Pinpoint Landing is gonna be that useful. Nah, never mind. Okay, well, it was cool to see. No, it's a ritual card. Cyber Angel Ritual. Can't use that either. Cosmic Flare, Blackwing Equip Spell, and an illusion card. Is this guy? Why am I even entertaining that? We can't use that. Okay. Okay. All right, pack number 5. Let's see, please. Anything useful here? Nothing that I can see here. I don't think the black sheep's generically useful, is it? No, it's literally just for Luna Lights. I mean, it does have a cool little effect with adding poly, but we already have that via Blaze, man. Okay, never mind. I'm literally trying to find anything halfway useful for us, man. It's gone that bad for us. Okay, Morgana, sure. This is Amazements. Yeah, can't use that. The Luna Light, a Watt, a Gem Knight, a Mostronic. Ugh. Yep, we're already over halfway point right now with the Ghost Bell pack, and still not much that's been very useful. Immortal Dragon, really cool with zombies. Too bad we're not playing them. Reversal Jar, is it any good compared to the other jar cards? Change as many monsters on the field as possible to face on. No, we're not even a stall deck, so we can't even really use this. We don't have a long grind match in us whatsoever. Stego Cyber's interesting. I just don't believe we can use this for anything in the collection right now as like a material. So yeah, not even gonna bother with that one. Oof. Okay, pack number 8. We have a holo pack here. This is the ultra rare. Please, I swear, I need some impact card for the deck. A Malefic, a Necros. What is this? Okay, it's shitty card for a shitty archetype. Super Quantals, Chronomaly, Chemacritters, and Loki Lord of the Aesirs. Yep, we're not even gonna bother reading that because it is a bad Nordic synchro monster. So no point. Gravekeepers. Shout out to the last episode where we got absolutely fucking whopped by that deck. Another Necrovalley card. Okay. right. And another Nordic card. Wow, all the callbacks right here. Yeah, there's nothing useful here. This is for Cyber's card specifically, right? Yeah, and Ignister monster. Never mind. Alrighty, pack number 10. Last pack for the Ghost Bell bundle deal. Tell me, guys, are you guys this unlucky with your pack openings too? Because this seems like generational to me. And last one. Ascension Sky Dragon. Okay. Alrighty. Well, as per usual, we have nothing useful besides the guaranteed card we're getting from this. Damn. Alright, you know what? No point in dwelling on it. Okay, now for the big decision. Am I gonna be getting the triple tack or the Nibiru? Okay, so what I'm thinking right now is I'm thinking triple tack. Just for the very fact that I believe that this is going to give us the most utility in the most scenarios, just for the very fact that because we're always going to be choosing to go second, triple tack should be pretty much life always whenever we're dueling our opponent because they're bound to do something on our turn. As for Nibiru, it is more useful against the combo decks, and at that, if the combo deck is pretty competent, they have ways of dealing with Nibiru immediately. So let's go ahead and get the triple attack instead. That's my rationale, at least. I think the next card I am going to be picking up for the bundle deals is the Nibiru, but for now we're going to get the triple attack. All right, let's see. Literally anything good. Okay, that's a lot of hollows, but it matters what hollows they are actually. So it is kind of crazy that we haven't really picked up anything that good in generic for our deck from these random packs. Okay, so is Fiendish Golem any good? It's mediocre. It's a trap. It's slow, so never mind. Hold on, Frame Driver. I believe we have like a Cypher hand trap somewhere in our collection, if not more. So maybe we can add these in depending on how many Cypherings, if they're any good also. So that's kind of a cool one. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually kind of big. And this is a Centurion card, so I'm not even gonna bother with that. Okay. Driver's not bad. Now we can keep an eye out for the Cypher hand traps, so that's pretty cool. So let's see, Terrifying Toddler, Dynamist, Arcana Force, such a bad archetype. And this is some more cards, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, nothing useful in that. And Ultimaya. Okay. Yeah, but we can't use that either. We have no tuners in the deck. All right, super, where is the super? Nordic card, Rainbozo. I think Bears used this card on me before, which is really funny. Shinobi Bird, super heavy. Okay, there. Agent of Uranus. Never mind. Dino Wrestler, and this is just some Spellcaster monster. Okay, oof. Okay, there's the ultra rare. Please give us something good. All right, it's somewhere around. All right, so we have a Plunder. We have a what? Yeah, never mind. Not even gonna entertain that one. Lyrilisk, Drytrons. Is this a Gizmic? Never mind, it's a Gemini monster, so not that good. A Zodiac Barba. Oh wait, hold on. Well, what does Tip do? God damn it. Okay, Tip's great, but I don't think I have a single other runic card in my collection, which is the issue. Which would have been incredible. I like the runic cards. Well, not really. I don't really like the runic deck. I think it's really unfun to play against, but that would have been great for us if we had access to some of their really annoying quick plays. All right, Neptus card, Alderness T Hastor. Okay, we have a Buster Blader card. We have a White Forest card, a Cybers card, a what is this? Ice Barriers. Okay, Hydrogadon. I think that's our second one today, which is kind of funny. And a Chronomaly. Yep, nothing here. Damn, I'm actually still like hung up on the whole runic tip. It seems like whenever we pull something halfway decent, it's never really effective for us because we have like cards that we don't have access to, which is really unfortunate. Okay, is this card any good? Nope, it's not. Okay, and our Wiretap. Wait, am I thinking of Red Reboot? Yeah, okay, I was thinking of Red Reboot when I saw Wiretap. This is cool. Again, because we are going second strategy, it's not going to be really coming up for us. So, we much rather have cards like Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster instead for these scenarios. Constellars. Yeah, I don't even know why I opened that one up. I know we can't use Constellars. Temple of the Deep. We have a Jurak Velapto and Io Armed Dragon. Is this cheatable somehow? It's not. No, we need dragon specifically in order to use that. Okay, never mind. All right, pack number 8. Give me something useful here. Mathmex. We have a Watt card. We have a Pendulum card. Roaring Earth. Never mind. We need beast monsters for that. Marincess. Salmigrate card. Trimids and Ancient Rule. Yeah, let's cheat out the Neos from hand. Sure, why not? All right, pack 9. Come on. Anything here? You get what is this? Never mind, not useful. This is a Heradic card, so that's Z Space, World Prophecy. I believe that's a spellbook card. Yeah. All right, one-time passcode, which is kind of interesting, but we don't really have any generic links that we want to go into. Arotama. Do we have a Nikitama also? That could be. I'd have to look at those cards. Enko Talker, and we have a For Hire, right? Yep, For Hire. Never mind. Last pack. Come on, can we get anything halfway decent here? It's an upgrade. Okay, well, there's 2 of them. 2 chances. Another Centurion card. It's Super Hippos. What is this right here? Never mind, we don't really link summon that well. There we go. Okay, finally something halfway useful. Book of Moon. Yeah, that's going in the deck, actually. I'm not even gonna... Yeah, we're gonna be adding Book of Moon, finally. Jeez, the bar is so low for us that, not to say Book of Moon's a bad card, but like the fact that Book of Moon of everything we've seen so far got me excited. Generation X is far too specific to use, so I'm not gonna bother with that one. And hold on, isn't this guy pretty decent? Not awful, actually. You know what? We have Zeus in the extra deck right now. We can probably just get rid of it, add this guy in, and maybe adding another like hero card to the extra deck as well, and we can probably make use of this because there are times where I don't particularly want to go into the Dread Master. So you know what, not bad. Much better pack opening this time around, and we have the triple attack as well. So realistically speaking, this is really cool moving forward if we get more runic cards, just to like go ahead and splash them in, which I mean, I don't even know if I actually want to use the runic cards now that I think of it, just for the very fact that they have you skip your battle phase, and that's really important for us. We're not really a grind match, so I'll rethink on that one. Generation X, again, it's far too specific. Yeah, it's based on the life point difference between me and my opponent, so Book of Moon's gonna be just incredible. So I'm happy to see that. One-time passcode is interesting, but I don't think we're going to be using it anytime soon. And aside from that, yeah, there's really nothing else that's all that great. Oh, right, the frame driver. I'm going to be looking to see if we have any more side frames in the collection right now. And if that's the case, then this guy could be a pretty cool tech for the strategy. But aside from that, you know what? We've done way worse. So let's go ahead and add this to the collection and let's see what we can do today. Alright then guys, so here is today's deck profile, and as you can see, there isn't all that many big changes to it. Aside from the newly added Ghost Bell alongside the newly added Triple Tactics talents, there isn't all that big of a changes they made here. I did end up removing the Zeus package that wasn't really working out for us, and aside from that, I kind of just rounded out the ratios for the deck. Hopefully it performs well, but you know, seeing how hard the ladder has been lately, I don't know. Hopefully we get a few easy matchups, and with that being said, let's hop into the duels. We begin our journey to Platinum at Gold rank 5, and in order to reach our desired goal, we'll have to accumulate a grand total of 20 victories. The good thing about this is that those victories don't have to be simultaneous, so realistically, how difficult can this be? Well, let's find out. Our climb to Platinum begins with us losing our very first two duels, the first against Malice and the second against Centurion. And I won't lie, neither one of those duels were we realistically going to beat. We did manage to hurt our opponent, and maybe if we had played it out a bit more optimally, we could have potentially have gotten a victory off Centurion. But being realistic here, the matchups were way too difficult, and that Crimson Dragon is just a nuisance to deal with. However, fortunately for us, our next two duels actually ended up coming out as victories for us. And the first duel was against a Tenpai player that we were just able to out-aggro them, and the second victory came from a fabled Fiendsmith deck, which was interesting. However, that duel felt a bit weird because our opponent ended up scooping on turn 1. I mean, as usual, we'll happily take those easy victories, but it just didn't feel right. But this is where things turn pretty bad. At this point of the journey, we are currently at a record of 2-2. But then I get hit with a 5-duel losing streak against Ryzio, the new top deck on the block, Kashtira, yugioh Fiendsmith, Dark World, and finally Millennium Fiendsmith. And to say that after that gauntlet of matches I was feeling a little bit distraught would be an understatement. I kept feeling that my opening hands were suboptimal, that our opponent always seemed to have the appropriate hand trap in order to go ahead and cook us, and or a combination of the two. But not all hope was lost. Going into our 10th duel with a record of 2-7, we finally get another victory, this time against Kashtira Gradle. No, for real, I have no clue what the synergy was there, but nevertheless, we ended up beating the deck. The only unfortunate thing about this victory was that we actually only ended up winning because our opponent was disconnected from our duel. And realistically speaking, I don't know whether or not we would have actually won that duel, since Kashtira is one of the worst matchups we have with this deck just because of how important our graveyard is. But nevertheless, a victory is a victory. Shortly after getting that victory, I proceeded to go ahead and take a break because goodness gracious, I needed it after that horrendous start. Unfortunately, however, after I returned back to grinding the ladder, I completely forgot to go ahead and record 4 of the following duels. But I can tell you this about those duels. I did go ahead and lose 3 duels in a row to begin with, but I did at the end finally end up getting a victory on duel 4, where that victory allowed us to go ahead and rank up to gold rank 4. Honestly, if I had to guess, I probably ended up facing off a combination of Kashtira, plural, and I think Bestial, maybe Malice were like the decks I faced off against, but I cannot remember exactly. However, it did take us a grand total of 14 duels for me to accumulate a total of 4 victories. And this has me feeling really nervous at this point. 4 victories in 14 duels is crazy work. Fortunately enough, however, our next 2 duels do result in victories. One duel against Despia Branded, and the other one against a self-TK deck. So that victory wasn't super satisfying, I will admit, given how poorly we've been performing lately, but nevertheless, a victory is very much welcomed. And at this point, I'm starting to feel a bit nervous about this whole aspect of it. Every single victory we've accumulated thus far has felt kind of cheap and not really earned. So this is telling me that we're gonna be here for a while. But as soon as we start getting any sense of mojo back and we start making a comeback, we end up getting humbled once again. losing 5 more duels in a row. We end up dropping a duel against Kashtira again, Rescue Ace, Tenpai, and finally to the Sarcophagus deck. Yeah, this is looking really bad. It was at this point that I decided we need to do something about this, because after participating in 21 duels, I decided that the deck needed a bit of an upgrade. So I decided to go ahead and open up a few more bundle packs. I figured that we're probably going to be here for an additional extra 20 duels, so might as well open up an additional 20 packs. And from those 2 packs, we ended up choosing the Ash Blossom Selection Pack and the Nibiru pack. These 2 cards in particular seem like really impactful add-ins to the deck, and honestly, we need very impactful cards for this strategy if we want to have any chance moving forward. But as per usual from our packs, we didn't get anything all that good. Notable cards that came out of the Nibiru pack included the likes of a second copy of Dark Calling, a copy of Deity Warrior Lady, a copy of Lina the Light Charmer, and that's about it. However, things didn't get much better from the Ash Blossom pack. From that pack, the notable pulls from it were Gravity Controller, DDR, and finally Fogblade. So the pickings were pretty slim. So yeah, fairly underwhelming packs as usual, but honestly, I was just happy that we ended up getting access to both Ash Blossom and Nibiru. But not only did we end up picking up an additional 20 packs, we also ended up changing the deck quite a bit. We went ahead and added in our Evo Hero engine once again, just for the very fact that it felt like we needed to have some form of change for our deck. The current deck we were using was making no headway, and at this point I was willing to try anything to get some form of results. With the deck now updated and having a very much deserved break, I went ahead and got back onto the ladder, and good god, the difference this time around is downright insane. On our return to the ladder, we end up getting a 3-duel win streak against the following decks: Azamina, Tenpai, and Bestial Dragon Link. These 3 victories actually ended up awarding us gold rank 3, which is insane. Genuinely insane, the difference after taking that very much deserved break and upgrading the deck. So this was definitely the morale boost we needed after going 6-15. But of course, when Master Duel notices that I'm having a bit too much fun and not hating my life enough, it never fails to bring down my spirits. Shortly after going on that fantastic win streak and ranking up once again, we end up losing our next 3 duels in a row, facing off against Zodiac, Malice, and Dark Magician Primite. Yeah. However, the thing about these duels in particular is that I felt like against the Zodiac player and the Dark Magician player in particular, we had a scenario where we could have realistically beaten those decks. But due to my own misplays and fumbling a few interactions, I ended up losing them. But even though we did lose 3 duels in a row, I'm not losing hope and I continue to push forward. And my tenacity is rewarded immediately because we go on a pretty damn impressive 4-duel win streak against the likes of Malice, Life Twin Sprite, Rika, and some random pile deck. Thanks to those efforts, we end up reaching gold rank 2 in a significantly faster time than it took us to reach gold rank 4 alone. But now we're on the final stretch. We have 2 more ranks to climb until we reach platinum. However, on our climb to reach gold rank 1, we do stumble a bit at first. We end up losing our very first duel against a Marincess deck that I am 100% sure we could have potentially beaten if we hadn't misplayed as much as we did. But nevertheless, a loss is a loss. It was a very close duel, but nevertheless our opponent ended up getting the best of us. But right after that loss, we end up going on a generational run, winning 5 duels in a row, beating the likes of Cyber Dragon in a single turn. After that, we go ahead and defeat Primate Bestial, which are 2 decks that I have a really hard time against. Then after that, we got a freebie facing off against another pile deck, which was weird to see 2 of them in a row. And then finally, we get our rank up duel against Pure Sprite, which was so satisfying to go ahead and defeat on my own. Our final victory on our win streak was against a Blue Eyes player that we ended up just outplaying and defeating. And my goodness, those 5 duels in a row felt so great. We feel like we're on top of the world and that we can realistically reach platinum in less time than I actually expected. But of course, our fun is interrupted once again with us going on another terrible losing streak, with us losing our next 3 duels in a row. Losing against Striker, where we completely fumbled that duel and let our opponent get completely out hand, accumulating far too much advantage. After that, we end up losing to Evil Hero, and my goodness, the difference between having the appropriate cards like DPE, the other evil hero monsters, makes an insane difference and makes me so upset we don't have them yet. And lastly, our last duel we ended up losing against was some form of abomination, which was a trap-based monster deck where I feel like I might have taken a few years out of my life, which is just how annoying that duel was. But our pain is then rewarded with us going again on another nice little win streak. We end up winning our next 2 duels. The first against some diabolical catastrophe that can only be described as Crooked Cook Final Countdown Turbo of some sort. That deck was excruciating, lasting a grand total of 13 turns, which I was just about to scoop at one point, but nevertheless I pushed through it and ended up actually defeating our opponent via piercing damage because we could not get rid of that Crooked Cook to save our life. However, our next victory was against Sword Soul Tengi, and honestly it kind of saddens me just how easy of a time I have been having against this deck, because I absolutely adore Sword Soul Tengi, and I don't know, it kind of feels like a bummer that my personal favorite deck just doesn't feel that strong whenever I face off against in the ladder. But now is no time for sulking. We are currently on Gold Rank 1 and just need one more victory in order to go ahead and finally reach Platinum Rank 5. And we need to finally lock in. And unfortunately, we don't. We proceed to lose our very first rank up duel against Evil Hero. And again, honestly, it's so frustrating whenever we lose these mirror matches, just for the very fact that I'm playing with a not fully stacked deck and our opponent has pretty much every resource they could potentially even ask for. On our second attempt to go ahead and rank up, we face off against a branded bestial deck, and oh man, this deck is so rough. Who thought giving them multiple copies of branded fusion was a good idea? I genuinely cannot stand this deck, but time after time, I just cannot seem to get a grasp against this strategy. On our third attempt, we finally lock in, and we face off against Branded Bestial once again. Out of all the decks we could have faced off against, it was so satisfying that we actually end up beating this deck to rank up. Granted, we did open Nibiru in that opening hand, and that did help quite a bit in order to break their board and making it beating them feel a bit more trivial. But nevertheless, we finally reached Platinum Rank 5, and oh god, it took 45 duels. Alright then, and with that, we finally made it to Platinum Rank 5, and my goodness, it ended up taking us a grand total of, I believe, 43 duels in order to make it to this rank, and I cannot believe it took us this much. I feel like most of our losses actually ended up coming in early on during the episode when we were trying to get out of Gold Rank 5, believe it or not, but afterwards, after we had a few changes, we ended up pivoting back to the Evil Hero package. We did a lot better, which is making me realize maybe I've been sleeping on the Evil Hero package a bit too much. It is imperfect, but nevertheless, it does give us quite a few extra extenders, and it doesn't really hurt having access to those cards whatsoever. So I'll probably make a bigger effort to go ahead and incorporate them into the deck moving forward. And moving into the next episode, I'm kind of expecting myself to try and see if I can't go ahead and continue doing my episodes something like this, where I try to go ahead and reach a certain goal as opposed to just giving myself a set amount of duels per episode. Just for the very fact that in order to go ahead and move on from, I believe, Platinum to like Diamond to then like Legend, I forget all the ranks, but there's still like 2 more big ranks I need to go ahead and bypass before I can get into like the final rank. And if I go ahead and limit myself to 10 duels per episode, I don't know how realistic it is for us to go ahead and reach the highest rank in Master Duel at this pace without the season continuously keeping on resetting on us. So in the comment section below, give me your thoughts on that. I'm leaning towards that, maybe not, but we'll see. Going into the next episode, I think that I am going to be done with the selection packages at this moment, at least because there's nothing in particular that is really calling out to me, and I'm probably going to go back into going into specific packs. Right now, I'm leaning towards the Destiny Hero package, just for the very fact that I want to go ahead and have maximum value of the Destiny Fusion. Getting access to DPE is going to be a huge boon for the deck moving forward, and then after that, once we get at least DPE, I would like to go ahead and pivot towards the Evil Hero package once again. But give me your thoughts in the comment section below. But yeah guys, with that being said, if you did end up enjoying today's video and would like to support the channel, then I would really appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe. And also huge shout out to the channel supporter of this channel, that being PushX to Start. I really appreciate the support, and if you'd like to also support the channel, then feel free to join the membership as well. But with that being said guys, I really do appreciate you guys staying to the end, and with that being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.